Hello everyone and welcome back to Focus Africa. As promised in the previous video, today we are going to look at how to write a plan for your business. So without wasting any time, let's dive right into it. But don't forget to watch my previous video on why young African entrepreneurs fail in their businesses. And please subscribe for more content like this. Now, in the first place, what is a business plan? A business plan is a written document about your business that projects into the future and elaborates the path your business intends to take to make money and grow revenue. In simple terms, a business plan is a map that leads you towards your goals as an entrepreneur. There are several types of business plans depending on the context, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to generalize everything into two categories. We have a personalized business plan and a standard business plan. Now, a personalized business plan is one that you create for personal use only. It mostly contains informal words and terms that is meant to be understood by only you, the creator. Whereas a standard business plan is created for formal use, hence should contain a formal language and should be understood by every reader. Preferably, you should learn how to write a standard business plan because it gives you a vivid instruction at every stage of your business and shows you what to do next. It can be used to seek for support and proposals from non-governmental organizations. In case of partnering the business with another person, the business plan can be a self-explanatory tool to the new partners. Today's video will be centered on how to write a standard business plan. Now, every standard business plan has 7 main sections. We have the executive summary section, the business description section, the product and service section, the market analysis section, the sales and marketing plan section, the management strategy section, and the financial plan section. And for clarity and proof, it is advisable to include the plan outline and appendix respectively. Now, the executive summary. The executive summary summarizes all the other sections of the plan. Not everybody likes reading the details, so the executive summary is the first thing everybody reads when they come across the business plan. As I explained earlier, a business plan can be used to seek for partnerships and fundings, so make sure the executive summary section is clear and concise but contains very important information about all the other sections of the business plan. Make it catchy and exciting to read. If the reader will go ahead to read the other sections of the plan, it depends on how exciting and enticing the executive summary is. But make sure it doesn't exceed 2 pages, not lengthy. Note that although the executive summary is the first section of the business plan, it should be written last because it is developed from what you write in the other sections of the business plan. Now, the plan outline. The plan outline, also known as the table of contents, is a section that helps the reader to navigate through the plan. In general, every business plan follows this arrangement, but make sure you assign the page numbers because it shows the reader what to read in every page. The next section is the business description. Now, this section allows you to describe your business in details. For easy breakdown and understanding by readers, this section can be subdivided into goals and objectives, mission and vision statement, business introduction, company structure, key personnel, and location. Note that this section is what tells the reader what the company is really about, so much effort and dedication is required for it. Now, for the goals and objectives subsection, you have to outline the goals and objectives of the business. You are expected to state what you aim to achieve in the short term and in the long term. In stating these goals, ensure that they meet the SMART goal criteria. That is, both your long-term goals and short-term goals should be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. The mission and vision statement. The mission statement describes the philosophy of your business, whilst the vision statement describes how you see the business or company in the future. The mission statement is a representation of your dedication and commitment to the business as well as to the customers. It is some kind of promise you make to yourself to always keep the interest of the business first. The business introduction. This is the section where the business is introduced in details. Present the official business name and the type of business. It must answer the question, who are you as a business? You must also present the date the business officially started or is getting started. It answers the question, when was it established? State the product or service to be offered in a brief. It must also answer the question, what do you produce? The business structure. In this subsection, you state the corporate structure of the business. It requires you to state whether the business is a sole proprietorship, meaning being run by only one person, or a partnership, meaning being run by multiple owners, or an incorporation, meaning a merge of two or more companies. It also requires you to list the information of any shareholder, partner, or incorporation. The key personnel. In this subsection, you state a short profile about partners and vital employees detailing their duties and contributions. State their qualifications, expertise, experience, and work history. Remember to include yourself too. The location. This subsection answers the question where. Give a vivid description of the business's location. Include demographic features like street names and social amenities in the description. Include how one can get there. That is, indicate freight routes, traffic statistics, details of parking, and zoning. State the reason for choosing this particular location. If you do not own the site or building for the business, include the cost of lease or mortgage, and also include taxes and utility bills of the property in that location. If there was any renovation or alteration made in this property, include that one too. The fourth section is the product or services. In this section, you have to describe the product and elaborate the cost of production. You also have to state the future projections as well as accreditation. For the product description, you have to describe the product to be sold or services to be offered. You also have to state the benefits of the product or services to the customers and give a general and realistic estimate of product to be produced or customers to be served in a given range of time. And for the cost of production and sales returns, you have to state or estimate the quantity of raw materials needed or the cost for production. Estimate the sales price for the product or services. Elaborate the profit margin and how the business will maintain this profit margin through future changes and economic fluctuations. Future projections. If you intend to change the product or change the state of the product or add other products and services in the future, you have to state it in this section. State the reasons and benefit for the intended changes or additions. Moving on to accreditation or intellectual property, this section permits you to present information on how to get the product approved and certified in the market. It also includes how you legally register the product or services in terms of copyright, patent, trademark, or license. The fifth section is the market analysis. This section is about studying the business line you have chosen. It permits you to evaluate your customers and competitors. For the customer evaluation, you are expected to present and describe the targeted customers. You have to define who you want to patronize your product or services. This description must include characteristics like age category, marital status, gender, race, average income or salary, and etc. You have to note that knowing your customers helps you to design your product or services to meet their needs and satisfaction. And for the competitive analysis, this is the session where you identify your competitors. Present information of your competitors, the common things they are doing right, their weaknesses as well as their progress. State what makes you different and special from them, and also state what you intend to do better than your competitors. The marketing and sales strategy. This session is where you explain how you're going to get customers to buy your product or services. It is simply how you're going to attract and retain customers. It explains your strategy to beat your competitors and must include details of product publicity plan, discount or bonuses, and distribution and delivery strategy. For the product publicity plan, you have to describe how you plan to get your product known to the general public. That is, how and where you intend to advertise your product. Depending on the type of product, you can choose to advertise it on the business's website or social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. You can also choose to advertise them on other platforms including radio and TV shows, events, journals, billboards, or even coupons and flyers. Discounts and bonuses. If you intend to give discount for a purchase made on your product, state it here and elaborate how a customer can win this discount. Distribution and delivery strategy. This session explains how customers are going to receive your product. That is, will you distribute your product or services through a website, through a mail, through sales representatives, home delivery, or through a retailer. State the retailing companies accredited to distribute and sell your product. State the cost for distribution and delivery and the payment method. State your packaging method and how reliable they can be. The next section is the management strategy. This section describes your management team, your staff, your resources, and how your business's ownership is structured. This session should not only describe who is on your business team, but also how each person's skill set will contribute to the business's goals and objectives. This session can be subdivided into ownership structure, management team, professional services, and human resources. Talking of the ownership structure, this subsection permits you to explain the business's structure as earlier stated in the business description section, whether it's a sole proprietorship, partnership, or incorporation. You also have to state why this structure was adopted as well as its benefits and setbacks. For the management team subsection, you have to present the decision-making personnel, the management staff, as well as the supervisory board. You may wish to present this as an organizational chart in your business plan, although the list format is also appropriate. You should also include the complete summaries of each management team member, including yourself, as well as their roles. Follow this with an explanation of how each member will be compensated and their benefit package, and also describe any profit sharing plans that may apply. Professional services. This subsection is not compulsory, but if you happen to seek professional services outside the internal management team, it should also be highlighted. These professional services may include accountants, bankers, lawyers, IT consultants, business consultants, or business coaches. The last subsection here is the human resource. This is the section where you present the employees. Explain whether the business will require permanent workers, contract workers, or freelancers. You have to state whether these employees will work full-time, part-time, or a mixture of both. Detail how many employees your business will need at each stage and requirement for recruitment. State the intended salary for each employee and the grand total of all of them, monthly and yearly. The financial plan. The financial plan gives a general summary of income to be spent and possible returns. It is basically a forecast, meaning predicting future spending and possible profit. It consists of sales forecast, expense budget, cash flow statement, income projections, assets, and liabilities. The expense budget. This is the estimated money needed to produce and get your product into the market. It should be divided into two. That is startup expenses and production expenses. For the startup expenses, you have to present all the spendings for setting up the business. It should include business registration fees, business licensing and permits, starting inventory, rent deposits, down payment on a property, down payment on equipment, and utility setup fees. And talking of operating expenses, it is the spendings you make to keep the business running. It should include salaries, rent or mortgage payment, telecommunication expenses, utilities, raw materials, storage, distribution, promotion, loan payment, office supplies, and maintenance. For the sales forecast, it is the amount of income expected to be accumulated from whatever product or services the business makes. It represents the expected gross income to be made within a given period of sales. Depending on the size, it can be presented either on daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, quarterly basis, or yearly basis. The cash flow statement. This subsection elaborates cash outputs and cash inputs. Here, if money is leaving your business's account, you show where it is leaving to and what it is going to be used for. Also, if money is coming into the business's account, you show where it is coming from and what is bringing that money. Income projection. This is a section where you state how much you expect in revenue over the coming years and how much to be used for expenses. If these amounts don't look good in your eyes, you have to start making changes to your sales forecast and expense budget. Assets and liabilities. Assets are what a business owns and liabilities are what a business owes. If you subtract the value of your liabilities from the value of your assets, you get the equity, which represents the business's net worth. The final section of the business plan is the appendix. The appendix is used to provide supporting documentation for key components in your business plan, such as financial statements or market research. The appendix is also a great place to put any other tables or charts you didn't want to put in the main body of the business plan. Depending on the intended audience of your business plan, you may also want to include additional information such as intellectual property documentation, credit history, resumes, and etc. in the appendix. Now, before this video ends, there are a couple of rules you have to take note when writing a business plan. The first rule is that a business plan is written as if the business is already existing, hence only use the simple present tense. That is, do not use the future tense or the past tense. The second rule is that the business plan should be written in the passive tense. That is, avoid the use of personal pronouns like I, we, you, she, he, or they. But sometimes you can use the pronoun it to represent the business. For example, instead of writing I will employ 50 people, write instead 50 people will be employed, or it will require 50 employees. Just as simple as that. Thanks for watching this video to the end, and if you have any question or suggestion, feel free to add it in the comment section, and please don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more content like this.